Case 3047, Blake versus Brzezinski. All parties, please step forward.
Edwin Blake is suing business owner Kyle Brzezinski for property damage and filing a false lien on his property.
Mr. Blake, you are a landlord and you have several rental units. One of the units that you have has been occupied by Mr. Brzezinski's cousin for the last 10 years. And she's been a reasonable paying tenant. We've had no difficulty. Is she still your tenant?
She is.
And Mr. Brzezinski, who is her cousin, never lived in that unit.
Correct.
How many rental units do you have altogether, sir?
At this time, I have 5.
Are they all in the same building?
No, they're individual houses, and I have one that's in Florida, condo that I rent as well, so that's one of the 5.
So Mr. Brzezinski's cousin lives in one of your houses?
Correct.
This is what your lawsuit is about, sir. It is your claim that Mr. Brzezinski, without your authority, did renovations in that house in a bathroom. And when he asked you for payment for the renovation, you said, I never authorized the renovation. I'm not paying you for renovation that I never authorized. He put a lien on your house. And when did he put the lien on the house?
It would have been February when he executed the...
February of
23, correct.
And when was the work done on the house?
In December.
Of 22?
22, correct.
Mr. Brzezinski says that you did, in fact, authorize the work, that he had an absolute right to put a lien on your property. He's got a counterclaim for $10,000 for the work that he did. Okay, so Mr. Brzezinski, actually the ball is in your court.
Okay.
When, for the first time, did you meet Mr. Blake?
I've never met Mr. Blake.
Okay, so this is the first time.
This is the first time.
And what kind of business are you in?
I am in construction and general maintenance.
Who do you work for?
Myself.
In what state?
Wisconsin.
Are you a licensed contractor?
Yes, I am.
What's the name of your company?
K&K Pristine Exteriors.
Could you check that for me, please? Sure. And how long have you been in business?
2 to 3 years.
What did you do before that?
I've done all sorts of construction beforehand. Glass and glazing was the most recent one.
So you've never met Mr. Blake, so any conversations you had with him were either over the phone or via texts or emails?
Everything was through his maintenance guy, Mike Bennon, who is his witness.
Ma'am, he's not my maintenance guy.
Just a second.
Okay.
So you've never personally had a conversation with the plaintiff?
That is correct.
That's a big problem for you, sir. Now, you've been in the construction business. You have a company. Sarah's looking up the company. I assume you have a website. Is that right?
Yes.
The area of the house that you worked on was the bathroom for your cousin. I want you to tell me when, for the first time, you saw your cousin's bathroom.
Probably about 9 years ago, right after she started
Just a second.
renting.
And more recently?
More recently would be August.
I want to know how it came about, Mr. Brzezinski,
Yes.
that you saw the bathroom. Did your cousin call you?
Cheek.
Were you over there for a visit? I want to know how it came about, since you had no contact with him.
Well, her and Mike had called me about how the bathroom was in such poor condition.
Who's Mike?
Mike Bennon is his witness sitting right there, which would also be my cousin's boyfriend.
Oh, just... oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. So this man, you say, is your cousin's boyfriend.
Yes.
And either she or he called you to come and look at the bathroom.
That is correct.
Okay. Was he living there at the time?
No, he just stays there every so often.
How long have you known him?
I have known him once she introduced me, which would be a month or 2 before, in August.
In August?
Yes, that's when the first conversation about this renovation being done took place.
Okay, so
August 19th.
Just a second. So this is the boyfriend,
Yes.
according to what you know,
Yes.
of your cousin,
That's
who you
correct.
know is a renter.
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened, sir?
They
I
had-
want to know how it came about that you did the renovation, since you had no conversation with him at all personally,
Okay.
and you met him only for the first time today. You're trying to scam.
Claims business owner Kyle Brzezinski damaged his rental home and filed a false lien on his property.
Okay, so now the ball is in your court.
August 19th, they had called to have me come meet and look at the bathroom, which I did. And Mike was there too, as well, had us look at it and said, I go, yes, I can do that. And he said what he wanted done to the bathroom. So leave the tub.
You mean this man
Yes.
told you that?
Yes,
Okay.
leave the tub and leave the tile up the wall halfway. And then he was doing window work on the apartment, on the house, replacing the windows. So they offered to leave the dumpster there so they didn't have an extra charge with the dumpster, because there was a dumpster on site. I said I cannot get to it right now. It would be late November, December before I'd be able to get onto this. So as time went, they got a hold of me and wanted me to come help grab a
Who
toilet.
are they? You mean
Mike-
your cousin?
Mike got a
And
hold
Mike.
of me,
And as far as you know, he's still dating your cousin.
as far as I know.
Okay, go ahead.
So Mike had me come meet up with him to pick up a toilet from another one of Blake's units to use on my cousin's remodel.
So he found a toilet for you.
Yep, from another one of his rentals.
You know anything about that? No. Just check. You know anything about the other toilet? That's all I'm asking you.
I do.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll get to you in a
Okay.
second. Just maybe.
So I did that, and then conversation came by in November when I said, I got time to do this now. Is this good to go? And I got a yes from my cousin saying that Blake had authorized it, and a yes from Mr. Bennon saying it was authorized to go ahead and do the remodel. So then I started on the remodel in December.
You can't do that. You can't do that, Mr. Brzezinski. Sue your cousin. Your cousin authorized you to do work in the bathroom. He never authorized you to do anything.
Mr. Mike Bennon was acting as the agent.
Oh, no, sir. That may have been a giant leap for you. You said you had a conversation with your cousin,
Yes,
and she said, okay, go ahead and do it. And you did it.
yes.
Did I get that right? Did he? She said,
Go ahead and do it.
she said, go ahead and do it. Sue her. You're not losing. What do you want to interfere for? Your cousin said, go ahead
Yeah.
and fix my bathroom. Sue her if she didn't pay you. You can't put a lien on his property. That's fraudulent. That can get you in real trouble, sir. If you have a license in the state of where? Wisconsin?
Yep.
Yeah? They can lift your license for that. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Because I'm going to send them an order.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand what you're thinking. You knew she was a renter.
Yep.
You say I have to get a contract with the owner of the house to do that. You've been in the business. You said 2.5 years. You have a company for him?
I couldn't get to the website because it was a spam risk to go to the website, but I have a Nextdoor page for the business with a little blurb on their story that doesn't really read professional. It reads more hobby-based.
Got it.
He does landscaping.
It's mostly landscaping.
Mostly landscaping.
His license
By the way,
is
do you?
qualifier.
By the way, in Wisconsin, I know I've had to renovate bathrooms and I've done bathroom renovations, and all of that requires permitting. Did you pull permits on this? Think very carefully. Did you pull permits on this bathroom?
No, I did not.
No, but you were required to pull permits
There
on
was
the
a
bathroom.
permit pulled for the renovations being done already on the house.
You, in the bathroom, didn't pull permits.
Nope.
No. Well, this is a very easy case. I don't even have to ask about a toilet. You didn't have to open your mouth. Mr. Brzezinski,
Yep.
I am sending an order to,
Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
that's where it's going. And it's going to be a strong order. It's going to indicate that you had no permission from the owner of the property to do any work on the property. That's what I found. You've signed off on that, on any judgment that I make, that you sued the wrong person because the owner of the property never gave you permission to do any work, that you did work without pulling permits, and I'm directing them to remove the lien on his house. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. Now go sue your cousin to get paid. Got it?
Yep.
Yeah, you're trying to scam him. You can't do that. You can't do work for somebody and then say, now I want to get paid. I've never spoken to you, but now I want to get paid. And if you don't pay me, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make your life miserable by putting a lien on your house. And by the way, if you get me a number, I'll call them as well. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Lien will be removed.
This court is adjourned.
Well, he sent me a bill and he threatened to sue me, but he didn't sue me, and instead of suing me, he put a lien on my property. I didn't even know he was doing it, and I get a bill for this big amount of money to pay for a job I didn't ask for, and the work was just absolutely terrible. I'm not saying he's a crook in general, but in this case, he tried scamming me. Happy it's over.
So I hope I made it clear what I found. It was I couldn't find a website on the defendant's LLC, but I did find a Nextdoor page, which is just a business page. It's for neighbors to get ideas. If you're looking for a contractor or a landscaper, neighbors can post on there and give suggestions. So I found his page on there, but in the About Us or Our Story section of his business, it says that he started out landscaping because his mother had a vegetable garden, and then he was good with his hands, so he made it a career choice. But it all seemed very hobby-based and more landscape-based
rather than construction.
A licensed contractor able to redo an entire bathroom. But you know, I think the right thing happened. He can't file a lien on someone's property, and
Come on, that you've never spoken to.
Exactly. I was surprised at his position because I know we spoke about this before, and we thought he was going to come in saying that he had all these documents signed with the plaintiff and conversation. Never seen him before today. Just met him for the first time, so kind of was dead in the water before he got there.
We'll do that order, and I'm confident that it'll work.
Yeah.
That they'll remove the lien from his house.
Yeah.
Are you a victim of an assault? Go to judyjustice.tv. Robin Shepler is suing her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, for a mobility scooter and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3053, Shepler versus Tappendorf.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Shepler, am I correct that the two of you were neighbors in a mobile home community?
Correct.
How long had you been neighbors in the community where you lived?
2 years.
Did the two of you ever see each other socially?
Just the two of us.
Just the two of you.
One time we went for a Friday night fish dinner, yes.
Other than the one-time Friday night fish dinner, did you ever go out socially with him? Either two of you or another couple or...
With other neighbors in the mobile home park.
Your case is about a scooter that you sold to the defendant.
Correct.
I want you to tell me exactly what kind of scooter it was because I wasn't able to get enough information about it.
It's called the Golden Companion 2 scooter.
Where did you get it from?
My father bought himself the scooter and a wheelchair. He never used them before he moved into a
So
nursing
you
home.
got it from your father?
Correct.
When? What year?
2018.
And how long had he had it before he gave it to you?
3 years.
And where did he get it from?
He purchased it from a connection he had at the VA center.
From a private person?
No, it was from the company directly.
Any luck?
So I just need to know if it's a 3-wheel or a 4-wheel.
3-wheel.
Then I have for a new one from Golden Tech, I believe.
Well, this one's 8 years old.
Well, I have what a new one is,
Okay.
and then I have what some eBay offers
Okay,
are.
good.
But 2756
Is new.
is new. And then I could look up some used ones if you want, just to get
Could you
an
do
idea.
that from 2015? I would appreciate it. Okay. At the time that you claimed the defendant purchased this scooter from you, was it running?
No,
In what month and year did he purchase it from you?
May of 2021.
And how long had it not been running? You had had it since 2018.
As far as I know, it just needed 2 new batteries.
It's not what I asked you.
Okay,
How long had it not been running?
I'm not aware.
So as far as you know, it had not been running since 2018.
Yes.
Tell me what the arrangement you made with Mr. Tappendorf was with regard to the scooter. He said he wanted it. You said,
Said, well, it's not running. I wanted to get new batteries for it and sell it myself for about $3,000.
yeah, well, that would be hard since it's 8 years old and the new one costs less than $3,000.
So I said, we can work out a deal.
Just do you understand what I just said?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said he's interested in buying it, and I know he's a handyman. So I asked if he would be willing to install a dishwasher in my home and a water softener in my home, and we could work out a discounted price for buying the scooter from me.
So what price did you work out?
At that time, I had mentioned $1,500.
Is that what he agreed to?
It was a verbal agreement. There was no talk on price.
No, there cannot be a contract without terms. Have to be terms. You say this is what you want. He says this is what I'll pay you. And I will do something to reduce that price by so much. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, so far we don't have a contract.
No.
In what month and year did you take possession of the scooter, sir?
I believe Robin is right. May of 2021.
How much money did you give her for it?
None.
Did you ever give her any money for it?
Yes.
When?
Close to 8 months to a year later.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her money for it.
Well, I thought we already had it worked out with all the labor that I did. And my girlfriend took it down to the mailbox. And as soon as she left, Robin's right across the street. She come running over and she said she wanted more money.
Okay, well,
gave
I'm
her
missing
5.
that whole, there's a whole piece missing there, sir. 8 months later, you gave her money.
Yes, I did.
How much?
$500.
Okay. Sarah, in your
I looked up.
adventure on the machine, did you come up with a price for a used?
Yes. So there's actually one right here on eBay that's the same 3 wheels that needs batteries for $350. And then there's another one for $250, and they range up to about $750.
Your Honor, I have the information on that too from 2 companies in La Crosse.
No, I don't need any information from you. I have a very trusted clerk here
Okay.
who's just looked it up and indicated that for a used scooter, the range is from $250 for that year model to $750 for that year model, right?
That's what she looked up. This was
That's
an
what she
unused, never used scooter.
That's what she looked up.
Yes.
Also, if I may ask you, Your Honor, or show you, it is a manufactured.
So far, you're not losing, sir. So I don't know what you want
I'm
to
sorry.
contribute to this.
I have an old flip phone with the date on it. It was manufactured 05/28 of 2007.
Okay, so it wasn't 2015, it was 2007.
That's what I found on the scooter.
Kevin, can I see the document that the defendant referenced?
Okay, I'll show you
No, you had it right over there.
this one.
Yeah.
Well, that's just, here, it's on my phone, Your Honor, and I don't know if you can look at it. I just wrote it down so I had it in front of me, but
Okay.
I have it on this phone. If you can operate it, I don't know.
I can't operate it, and I don't want to operate it here.
Okay.
Return this to him. Anyway, the $500 that you gave to her is more than reasonable for the scooter.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
Now, you did other work for her. Tell me what other work you did for her.
The work that I performed for Robin was she had no dishwasher there. So I cut the cabinet out, prepared a spot for the dishwasher, had to go through more cabinets to get the plumbing over to the sink. Then it needed to have electrical work to power that up. And she asked me to install another electrical outlet for her microwave.
Now, Miss Shepler, you seem to acknowledge that the defendant did, in fact, install a dishwasher for you.
I did some of the work as well for that.
Well, that's your home.
Yes.
It's not his home. So you can do as much work as you like. And this was part of the deal for the scooter, which he paid you $500 for, which already covers the cost of the scooter. So now he's working off nothing. So he installed a dishwasher for you.
He did sub-quality work, though.
Well,
I have photos if you'd like to see.
I don't want to see, madam. If you want a professional installation, call a professional. If you want your neighbor to do it in exchange for a scooter, then you don't complain that you don't like the work. Does it wash dishes?
I had to replace it. No.
It was used, Your Honor.
What?
It was a used dishwasher.
Yeah, replacing the dishwasher. Does the current dishwasher work?
Yes.
Is the current dishwasher a new one?
Yes.
Was the one he installed a used one?
Yes.
There we go. So far, he's paid for the scooter. Punitive damages for harassment. You want to go into that, Ms. Shepler?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I knew him for 6 years prior to being neighbors. In that time, we would have community fires, bonfires, and he had this habit of turning his music up so loud.
Just a second. Give me a month and year.
This specific time for the last time was on March 16th. This was during the day.
Just March 16th, 2023. He played his music too loud.
I was working, and I couldn't do my job across the street because his music was so loud.
Next.
So I called the police.
And?
The next day I came home from work, I get out of my car, and he calls me
That's a nasty word.
No, I did not.
Just a second. And?
and other vulgar terms.
And?
And he had the habit of standing outside urinating, where my grandchildren would see him.
Well, tell me when. Give me a
Every other day he did it.
Well, then you shouldn't have let him in your house to install a dishwasher.
He also
Yeah,
had,
Just a second. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay. Next.
The harassment comes from after he was served his small claims case that I filed. I witnessed him putting spotlights out in his front flower bed and running extension cords to power them. And I kind of wondered what he was doing. At 6:30, I proceeded to go to an evening activity. I came home at 10:30 at night. I turned the corner onto my street to see the entire street lit up because these spotlights are shining on my house. I proceeded to call the police. The police came within 11 minutes. I have documents of the police. I have a video of the police going to the defendant's house, in which they spoke to him, and within 3 minutes, the lights went off. But I had my camera rolling, and I could see the police were standing 10 feet away from the door. Next thing I know, the police are coming over to my house to talk to me, and when they came to my door, I turned on my front light. When the police came, they asked me to turn off the lights so they could talk to me, and I told them, this man is harassing me. I'm afraid of him. He has a problem with alcohol.
Why did you file a small claims case against him? I don't understand. You were paid more than the scooter was worth between the $500 he gave, plus in addition to that, he did some work in your house, whether you liked the work he did, whether you didn't like the work that he did. I'm not understanding why you filed, because you say this harassment started after you filed the small claims case.
Yes.
And I don't understand why you filed a small claims case against him.
I feel it was a brand new, unused scooter that happened to be 6 years old at the time. So I think the value was higher than $500. And I brought over a flyer to him, which I have here. And we sat down and we discussed it, that $1,000 would be the going price for what he'd owed for the scooter,
Okay.
having done the work.
Okay. First of all, whatever it was a plus item for you. It was given to you by your father who couldn't use it anymore. You don't know what he paid for it. He says from the scooter, it was built in 2007, despite the fact that you say your father bought it new in 2015, which I'm not so sure about. But the highest price for that scooter is $750. The highest. The lowest is $225 in the same year. So you got paid for it. I don't understand why a busy woman like you would waste your time. I just don't understand. You seem like an intelligent woman. You have a counterclaim. It is your claim, Mr. Tappendorf, that because the plaintiff called the police on you several times, it caused you to be evicted from your home.
That's true.
Show me.
I filed a counterclaim in the amount of $1,800.
I have it. And it says punitive damages for losing home and moving expenses, which I read your counterclaim, and you say because of her constant complaints about you.
I don't have any proof.
Well, if you don't have,
other than I know
Mr. Tappendorf, you know what happens when you don't have proof?
you get nothing.
Right. Right. Because you filed the counterclaim, and I can't tell you what happened. You have to have proof and be able to show me that the reason you were asked to leave the leased property that your mobile home was on was because of the plaintiff. It's possible that it was, because the police, based upon what she tells me, were called twice.
It was more than that.
Well, that may be more of a reason. You don't have to help his
I've
case.
never had a ticket, never had a warning. I just had a warning one time that the radio was too loud, please turn it off. These lights that she's talking about
I'm not
are
interested.
false.
Sir, all you have to do is show me that
Okay.
you were evicted from the property because of the plaintiff.
It's all hearsay then, Your Honor.
Well, then I have a problem.
I do
with
have proof of what he harassed me with.
Just a second.
And later today,
According to what I read,
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
he has no case. Why are you helping him?
I'm not helping him. I have my own case against.
No,
my
your
court
case is dismissed against him
Thank you.
because you have no case. You were paid for a scooter more than handsomely. You had work done in your house. You were paid far more than the value of it over the internet for a scooter that's between 8 and 14 years old, more than handsomely, and you had work, and he did work for you. That you may not have liked the work, but he did the work, and you installed a new dishwasher that works. And he did the cabinetry. You may not like the way he did it, but you installed the dishwasher there, and it took time. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're done here. Go, be well, have a happy life. You're not living there anymore?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Good. Are you living someplace else that you like?
More peaceful place.
Good. Glad to hear it. That's
He's
it.
not
We're done.
supposed to be in our park, and he continues to.
This court is adjourned.
He was in front of my camera riding in circles. I'm on Robin's camera. I'm on candid camera, doing burnouts with my scooter.
It goes 4 miles an hour.
He taunted me with the scooter, and he knew he owed me more money on it.
I have another girlfriend that lives in the neighborhood, and they're all jealous of her, and they just want me out of there now.
Well, he's been evicted from the park, and all of the people are very happy that he's no longer there.
That defendant has definitely watched you before. He knew he had no proof, and he knew he was going home because of it. But I mean, I guess at least be honest. When you come in, he knew he knew he didn't have it, but
what do I have? Got nothing.
yeah, it's at least he knew it was hearsay, and he knew you weren't hearing it.
I actually thought he was pretty sharp.
Yeah, but I think, you know, she was adequately paid, and he did work. She didn't like it. Hire a professional.
Yeah, well, you put in a used dishwasher in the work that he created. So he really more than paid for it.
Yeah.
There's something else there. There's some other annoyance there. I'm not exactly sure what it is between the two of them.
You don't want to know.
And I don't. Yes.
Case 30.
Novice Sr. is suing his son, Marvin Novice Jr., for bail and attorney fees after his son was arrested.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3087, Naves versus Naves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How old are you, Mr. Naves?
25.
How long have you been living at home with your mother and father?
All my life.
Are you still living there?
Not right now at the moment, no.
Where are you living?
With my grandma in Van Nuys.
And you left because you had a disagreement with your father.
A huge argument, yes, ma'am.
Some time ago, you're going to tell me the date, police stopped you in your car, correct?
Correct.
On what date was that?
About 2 years ago, Super Bowl Sunday, on February 14th.
On Valentine's Day,
I believe so, ma'am.
2022.
2022, yes.
And you were stopped because, according to what I read, you were smoking, but you must have been smoking something other than cigarettes.
Marijuana, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. In what state do you live?
California.
Was smoking marijuana in a car? You were the driver of the car, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that illegal in the state of California?
I believe so.
I would say so, just like you can't have a bottle of vodka and drinking it while you're driving. And when the police stopped you for committing a crime, which endangered a lot of people because, you know, when you're not totally together, you're not supposed to be driving a car, they found 2 handguns.
Correct.
Who else was in the car? It's not funny. I happen to not think it's funny. I know that you think it's funny, but it's not funny.
I mean, I got off scot-free, so I'm not facing 10 years,
How
ma'am.
many other people were in the car?
I believe 4 other people had a full car.
You know how many other people were in the car. You were driving.
I just said 4, ma'am.
4 others.
Yeah, full car.
And where were the guns found, sir?
I don't know. I was not the police, so.
No, but you were in the car. Don't be a wise guy with me, because I eat people like you for breakfast. I don't think you're either cute or accomplished. You're neither cute or accomplished.
I know I'm
At
cute.
age 25,
I know
you don't
I'm
live
cute.
on your own. You either live with your mother or your father. Then when they throw you out, you go and live with your grandmother. I neither think that you're cute or accomplished. Maybe young girls do. I'm an old lady. I fail to see your attractiveness, and I fail to see how any of this is funny.
You ever see my smile, man? That's pretty attractive.
It depends. Let me ask around. You find that attractive? No. Whitney, you're younger than I am, a little bit older than Sarah. You find that attractive?
They want to keep their job.
It's not only not attractive, but when your grandmother watches that, she's going to think you're a fool, along with a lot of other people. And it's going to be my joy, my absolute joy, to fill in the blanks. So you don't know where the 2 other guns were found, and everything got thrown out. So now you have no adult criminal record.
Correct.
Did you have a juvenile criminal record? Answer the question. Did you have a juvie record? Of course you did. You know everything. Wise guys like you always have a juvie record. So when they booked you, they put you in jail. Now, as a juvie, you had been taken into custody before, but I don't think that you had been put in an adult kind of situation, in an adult facility. So let me ask you a question. Did you call your girlfriend?
Nope.
Did you call your priest?
Nope.
Did you call your family physician?
Nope.
Yeah, I'll assume, for the record, Whitney, I'm going to assume that this accomplished 25-year-old who lives under the auspices of his parents or his grandma doesn't know how to say no, or no, ma'am, or no, Your Honor. He says no. I assume, sir, that you are not a graduate of any university.
Nope.
No. See. So you didn't call any of those people. Who? They gave you a phone call. Who did you call?
I called my dad, tell him to get me out.
Just a second. You called your dad. I'm 24 years old, and I live with you. I was smoking in the car, and they called me over, and they had 2 guns, and I'm in jail now. Yeah. What did you call your father for?
To get me out.
Why?
It's his job to protect me, right? You have kids, ma'am?
What?
You have kids, ma'am?
5 and 13 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild. And I want to tell you something. This is one of them. And the last person they would call, any of them, if they got pulled over smoking a joint and there were guns found, the very last person that they would call is me. That's the very last person they would call. And they actually consider me a pretty good mother and grandmother. But they know you're going to act like a fool, call somebody else. So you called your daddy. You called your daddy. No, you called your daddy.
My father.
You called your daddy and you said, "Come and get me out." And he did. And he got you out. He paid a bail bondsman, which is what this case is about. You think this was going to be easy? Not easy. You don't mind my doing that to him, do you?
No, ma'am.
Great. Are you his mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he your only son?
He's my only son.
He's your only son. I could tell. I could tell. It's nothing against you, but you can always tell when a little boy has been pampered by his mother and thinks that he's the cat's meow, even though he's unaccomplished. And he got you out, and he got you a lawyer. And that's what this case is about, Mr. Navas.
Yes, ma'am.
This is about the bail and the money that you spent on a lawyer.
That he spent.
Don't speak.
That he spent.
If you speak, unless I speak to you, sir, I'm going to throw you out. Do you understand?
Sorry,
or
ma'am.
I'm going to tell Kevin to put you in your seat.
Sorry, ma'am.
Very good. So when I speak to you, like I did before, you can answer me. Now I'm speaking to your daddy. You got a tax return.
Navas Sr. claims his son, Marvin Navas Jr., owes for the cost of bail and attorney fees after his son was arrested for illegal firearms.
Okay, so you are suing him for the $2,800 or whatever it was for the bail bondsman, and you also paid an attorney $14,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you paid this money to the lawyer and to the bail bondsman, what kind of work was your son doing?
Before that, he was working for a security company.
As a what?
In the warehouse.
So he was working at a minimum wage kind of job.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you knew that he didn't have $14,000 or $16,000. You knew that he didn't have that. And he's living with you instead of living on his own because he's not even earning enough money to have his own apartment or to pay for his own gas, electric, utilities, water, heat, air conditioning. So he's living in his room, in his old room.
Yes, ma'am.
Ultimately, the case was dismissed.
It's not completely dismissed, ma'am. The statute of limitation hasn't expired.
So is the case still pending?
Yes, because I have this email that...
Can I see what he's got?
Yes, ma'am.
So the case has not been dismissed.
No, ma'am.
The DA just hasn't filed on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, got it now. Okay, so I can't ask him anything else about these pending charges because right now his attorney's not here, and his attorney would not like for me to do that. Now, was your son still working in the warehouse when you had this incident with him that caused him to move out?
No, not when he moved out, ma'am. No.
Where was he working?
He wasn't. He got laid off.
When did he get laid off?
I gotta say, probably like August.
August of 2023?
2022.
22? Oh.
That's 23, actually. 23, actually.
Well, but this is interesting, sir.
That's right.
Because you say in your complaint that the charges were fully dropped against him in March of 2023, but that's not so.
That's what I assume, ma'am.
Well, no, but there wasn't, not according to this letter.
No, the reason I got that email from the lawyer, ma'am, is because I reached out to her to ask her about the bail bond exoneration letter, because my name was on the bail bond, and then that's when she sent that email stating that.
Okay, so now I want you to tell me, sir, you see, the boy, the boy says that he never had an agreement with you.
Never did.
To pay. He never had an agreement with you to pay you back, and that what you did because he's your son and you're his father. And the reason that you threw him out of the house was that you came home from work one day. What kind of work do you do?
I'm in sales, ma'am.
That you came home from work one day, he was not working, and he was, according to you, according to your papers, he was lying on the couch and smoking marijuana.
Well,
that's what you say here.
Yeah, what happened, ma'am, is it was on a weekend. I was drinking a beer, and he went out. He left, came back, and he smelled like marijuana in front of me. And I said, then that's when I asked him. I go, if you got money to buy marijuana, how come you're not making me whole on this? You made some payments on this, because when he filed his income taxes on the years before, we will keep his returns to put towards what he owned.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me that you had an agreement with him for when he got a refund on his taxes that he would give you that money?
He was making payments before.
He was making payments?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did he make in payments?
He made a total of about $2,500.
Can I see the document that you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay. This says that you did, in fact, make some payments to your father. Income tax return, and that was in April of 2023 that you did, in fact, make a payment to him of $1,222. Is that correct?
I believe so. If it says
Just
right
a second. I'm asking you a question, boy.
If it says right there, I don't recall that, so.
Okay. Do you recall that you got a refund on your taxes?
Maybe. It could have been a stimulus check. I don't know.
All right. Well, I can see I'm not getting anywhere with you because you're a moron. And what you really don't know, sir, is how to read the room. And, you know, sometimes people learn that when they're very young. Sarah learned how to read the room when she was 3. Doesn't require an education. It requires listening to what's going on around you. So if you listen to what I was asking you before, it's perfectly logical that your father might think that because you had money to go out and buy weed, you should be paying him. But in reality, he had no expectation of being repaid because you had either no job or a low-paying job. That's a perfectly reasonable thing for me to think as a parent. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But when I ask you, and I'm sure that you remember because we're not talking about something that happened 10 years ago, but a few months ago, you got a tax return, $1,200, and you gave it to your father. That's either a yes or a no. That's not I don't remember. I don't remember means that you're dull-witted. Are you dull-witted?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You're not dull-witted. You're a wise ass, but you're not dull-witted. Then you made several other payments. In April of 2022, you again gave your father $1,123. Does that sound familiar?
Nope.
No.
He could have typed that up yesterday.
He could have. Just a second. He could have. So what you're telling me is that you never made any payments to your father. Is
Not that I recall, ma'am.
No, that's not an I don't recall. That means
Is accusing his son, Marvin Novis Jr., for refusing to pay back bail money and attorney fees after his son was arrested.
now, if you in fact made payments to him, you would know. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I did pay him some money when I could, when I was working, or when I got my tax return. You're a wise guy, but you're not dull-witted. So I want you to think hard. Don't give me I don't remember. Did you or did you not give your father your income tax refund in 2022 and 2023?
Yes.
Perfect. That's all we need to know. Now I know that you're just a wise guy, but you're not dull-witted. Okay. So actually, the junior.
Not a junior.
You are his junior. Your last name is Navas?
Navas.
Navas. Well, he's the senior here today. You're the junior.
If you say so, ma'am.
Yes, I do say so. And I have to tell you, sir, that but for the fact that your son has acknowledged that he turned over to you his income tax returns as partial payment for this lawyer, I would actually dismiss your case. I'm telling you, I would dismiss your case. Because you actually did what a parent is supposed to do when their ne'er-do-well kid acts like a moron, smokes dope in a car with 4 other morons, 2 of whom have guns, you know. But you don't want him to go to prison, and you've probably gone to pick him up at police stations before.
Yes, ma'am.
When he was young. Now he's getting older. The only thing that I can suggest to you is, despite the fact that your wife adores him, you know, he's her baby, you have to let him stand on his own because he's a wise guy. And somebody's going to hurt him one day.
And that's
Somebody's going to hurt him one day.
Ooh.
that's
Yeah,
that's my
that kind
biggest
of
fear.
wise guy always gets himself into trouble. Always. But for these 2 payments, I would have dismissed your case. However, he did make 2 payments, which he acknowledges, so the debt is real. He acknowledges that it was a debt by making 2 payments. Do you have the bill from the lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Here's the bill. Here's the receipt. And this is what we paid.
May I see the bill for the bail bondsman?
Yes, ma'am. Here's the bill, and then this is the email that will correspond with the stuff for the lawyer. I got you an email that.
Okay. Is he living with your mother or your wife's mother?
My mother.
Your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
How does she feel about that?
She loves me.
Shh. I didn't ask you anything.
You know, she loves him. She's torn up.
Does she have anybody else living with her?
My brother.
Mm-hmm. And to the best of your knowledge, is your son working now?
No, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him since May. This is the first time I've seen him.
Are you currently employed?
I'm looking for work. No, I'm not employed right now. I'm looking for work.
Okay. Well, in case you find work, I'm entering a judgment on behalf of your father for $10,000, which is the court's legal limit. He paid the lawyer a minimum of $10,000, and he paid the bail bondsman. I would hope that your legal case ends well for you, sir.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
I do hope it ends well. And it seems to me that you have certain innate intelligence. If you waste it, it's your life that you're wasting, nobody else's. We're done here. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I don't think it was fair. You know, my dad spent his own money. He paid the lawyer himself. He got the bail bonds himself. I just made 1 call when I was in jail.
I was very happy with it. You know, I needed to have this foreclosure.
I believe he was my dad. It was obligations to, you know, for his son to just get me out. I don't think I owe him a dime.
Well, you know, if that's what he thinks. What can I do? All you can do is be a father.
He's not really a crier like that. So for him just to fake cry in front of the judge, I think it's ridiculous.
I just didn't want him to go and be in a situation that it'll be worse for him.
To be honest, I won't speak to him for a very long time. If we reconcile, we reconcile, but my focus is just my 3 girls, my mom, my 2 little sisters.
And hopefully our relationship can move on and get better.
I'm cute, but not going to jail, man.
It's just tough love, and I just got to learn that, deal with it as they come and be prepared.
Sometimes I take for granted the legalese and the elements that are in the background of my mind when we listen to litigants out here. Because I know for you and for me, as soon as we heard that he made just one payment, that's acknowledgement of the debt. And therefore, he knew it wasn't just his dad being the best dad in the world, getting him out of jail, but a loan and an acknowledgement of a debt if he paid one payment. He didn't know that. He thought that it was going to be great for him that he paid. I paid him. I gave him the money. The rest of it was just him being a good dad. So he didn't know which way to go. He didn't know which way was up or down. He didn't know what was good for him, bad for him. But
what I found interesting about that young man is he clearly intelligent.
Sure.
And he spoke too much out of turn, but he was clearly articulate. Life is a journey. It has a beginning, a middle, and unfortunately for everybody, it has an end. In between is your journey. Mm-hmm. And that is a wasted journey because he's just a wise guy. Yeah. And he's not taking advantage of these wonderful innate gifts that he has of being able to communicate and being nice looking and looking healthy. Just a waste. Yeah. And it's really too bad because the journey is finite. What you do with it is yours. 2 brothers fighting with each other. And you went upstairs and retrieved your gun.
To use it in self-defense if he was going to choke me again.
That never happened.
I had been choked 3 times.
When he was pointing a gun at me and my son, I had to put him behind me just in case he decided to fire a shot off.
Really? This child was there.
This is Judy Justice. Shay McNulty and Amanda Warren are suing Shay's brother, Desmond Fairbanks, for lost wages, hotel bills, and injuries from an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3091, McNulty Warner versus Fairbanks.
Got it. Mr. McNulty, this is your brother?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is your fiancé?
Correct.
And the 2 of you were living in your grandfather's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was also your grandfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Also living in the house was your son?
No, we had not moved in at that moment.
But you were planning on moving in with your son?
Yes, ma'am.
An incident occurred when you came to the house.
Yes.
And your brother and Miss Warren were there. And there was an altercation on May 8th of last year. Mr. McNulty, you work as a security guard?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're licensed to carry a gun?
I have a CCW, concealed carry weapons license.
And how long have you had that?
Over 1.5 years as of today.
I'm going to do a general picture. You came with your son?
Yes.
I don't know whether to look at the room that you were going to move into. The 2 of you have a history of not getting along, or just...
We just don't talk. I don't really associate with them anymore.
Well, prior to May 8th, you didn't associate with them either.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to tell me what happened when your brother arrived with his son.
Well, when they got there on May 8th, it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Did you know that they were moving in?
We found out 2 weeks prior. It was brought to our attention, but there was no specific date.
Okay, so who told you?
He notified us first via face-to-face conversation while he was at the house the previous day prior to the incident taking place.
So you knew they were coming. And on May 8th, they arrived in the morning.
Yes.
And your fiancé was less than pleased that they were there.
Yes.
Okay. And is there any particular reason why your fiancé was less than pleased that your brother was coming to his grandfather's house?
Just because of the comment that she made that people show up unannounced without us knowing or surprising us.
It's not her house.
I understand. No, she was just upset that he showed up. And then that's when she had made the comment that people show up unannounced, and that was what started the events.
Yeah. She should probably butt out of business that doesn't involve her. Does your fiancée work?
Yes, she does.
Does she contribute to the household? In what way
does
she contribute?
We were paying the utilities for the house. That was it, because the house is paid off.
But your grandfather lives there, does he not?
Yes, he does.
He doesn't charge you rent?
No, he only said pay half the utilities.
Okay, so he doesn't charge you rent. You'd have to pay all the utilities if you lived someplace else.
Yes, correct.
So there's an altercation on May 8th because your fiance starts up with your brother, who clearly you knew was coming 2 weeks before.
Yes, 2 weeks, yes.
And you're going to tell me about this combat that took place. But at some point, you left this place where you were all fighting with each other, and you went upstairs and retrieved your gun.
Yes, my firearm out of the safe.
And when you came downstairs, the police were there.
Not at the time, Your Honor.
What did you do with the gun when you came downstairs with the gun? You retrieved the gun.
Yes, Your Honor.
You went downstairs, and what was your intention to do with the gun?
At that time, my intention was to use it in self-defense if he was going to choke me again. I had been choked 3 times.
Now, you've extricated yourself from this situation. You managed to go upstairs. You could also go outside.
Yes.
You could go anywhere, but you went upstairs to get a gun.
Yes.
To bring downstairs. And you weren't in danger when you were upstairs, right?
Correct.
So then you come downstairs, police arrive, and they arrest you.
Yes.
And they arrest you on what charges?
The original 3 charges were assault, domestic violence, and aggravated menacing.
Did you point the gun at your brother?
After he tried
Just a second.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have to understand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Once you're able to withdraw from a situation that clearly was precipitated by her, but you're able to withdraw from it, you can't go someplace else and get a gun and come down and shoot him or menace him because you have an alternative. And your alternative is you're safe. You're upstairs. Lock yourself in a bathroom. Go out the back door. You subsequently pled guilty. You got a deal. They gave you, according to you, a disorderly conduct.
Yes, Your Honor.
As a result of the same incident. I don't care what you pled guilty to. You pled guilty. And now you're suing him for the following. Hotel bills, because you and your fiance had to move out of your grandfather's house where you weren't paying rent. That's part of your lawsuit.
Yes.
That's dismissed. Lost wages. Well, you had lost wages because you work as a security guard. In order to work as a security guard, you need a gun, correct?
No, I'm unarmed.
Really?
Yes, I'm unarmed.
So what did you need a gun for?
Shay McNulty and Amanda Warren claim Shay's brother, Desmond Fairbanks, owes for injuries resulting from an assault. Desmond is countersuing, saying he was assaulted by Shay.
So what did you need a gun for?
At that time, after I was choked 3 times, it was in case I needed it. I had retreated back into the house to get away from him, and he followed me the third time.
No. I thought you needed the gun for your job because you're also suing for lost wages.
No, the gun has nothing to do with my job. I'm unarmed security for the state of Ohio.
Okay, so then what did he have to do with you being out of work for 5 months?
Because he called my boss and told him, and I also have a statement from my boss saying that he did receive a call from him, and because he did call him, that he has to suspend me without pay.
Because you brandished a gun.
No, it was just because of the fact.
No, he told your boss that you had brandished a gun.
I don't know if he told him that.
Well, why do you think you were suspended from your job?
Because he called them to make them aware of the situation, and because I am a security officer, I have a guard card. The Homeland Security suspended it because I was away from work. He had called my boss and spoke to him directly.
That's all right. He's allowed to do that. You pled guilty. If you pled guilty to disorderly conduct, you pled guilty to being the aggressor. Whether it was an assault or an attempted assault, a battery, you pled guilty. That's the same thing as being found guilty by a jury. He's allowed to call your boss and say, you don't want this guy around. He's got a gun. And he came downstairs and he was brandishing the gun, threatening me, menacing me. And I had a child there with me, a 5-year-old child. His child was there, right?
His child was outside.
His child was there.
Off of the property. But yes, he was there.
Well, of course.
He was off of the property.
What do you mean off the property? He was in somebody else's house?
No, he was outside sitting on the tailgate on the street in the truck, in the back of the truck bed. He wasn't on the property when this incident happened. He wasn't around to...
You mean he was alone by himself?
Yes.
Out there, 5 years old?
Yes.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor, that's not correct. When he was pointing a gun at me and my son, I had to put him behind me just in case he decided to fire a shot off.
Where were you when he pointed the gun?
On our back porch steps.
Outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you both on the back porch?
Myself, my son, him, and Amanda were all on the back steps at that moment. He had the gun.
Okay. So he's allowed to call your boss I don't think that you should have a gun anyway. If you think that you had the right under these circumstances to go up, get it, come down, and brandish it. Okay, lost wages, he doesn't owe you. If you got suspended from your job, if you got fired from your job, so be it. Hotel bills. Why do you think he should pay your hotel bills? I'll get to the incident in a second, maybe. Why do you think he should pay your hotel bills?
Because we were essentially illegally thrown out. We didn't receive any type of notice, and there was a protective
It's not
order.
his house, it's your grandfather's house. Why don't you sue your grandfather?
If my grandfather wasn't there to witness
It doesn't make any difference. He can't throw you out of the house. Only your grandfather can throw you out. Did your grandfather throw you out?
No, he didn't throw me out, but my mother was the one who told her while I was in jail that she didn't want us living there, but she doesn't live there. She gets the house when my grandfather passes away.
She is the daughter of your grandfather. So she told you on your grandfather's behalf to get out of the house. What are you suing him for? He can't tell you to get out of the house. Only the owner can tell you to get out of the house. And the fact that he doesn't have to give you any notice, he doesn't own it. You get it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hotel bills. You have to start taking care of yourself. What kind of work do you do other than a security guard?
Yeah, I had to start up a small business while I was doing this to supplement my income.
Good. And what does your girlfriend do?
She works customer service.
Where?
At a retail store, big box store.
Okay, so you have enough money to pay rent someplace, to go find someplace, pay rent, and live like two adults. How old are you?
I'm 36, Your Honor.
And you?
36.
Well, then, live like grown-ups. Don't live in your grandfather's house. Go pay rent.
We moved there to help his grandfather because he's 86 years old. He needed help around the house.
Well, evidently not anymore.
He just asked us to move in. I moved her out of her house into his house, and we moved in. He just said that...
When? How long?
This was February 12th of 2023.
Okay, so you moved in February.
We were there
and you
for
were
a total
told to
of
leave.
3 months.
What?
We were there for, I believe, a total of 3 months, from February to May.
Okay, so you have to find yourself a place to live. Actual damages for assault. Now, you pled guilty, so I'm not interested in whatever assault took place. You pled guilty to being the aggressor in this incident. Are you claiming that you were assaulted as a result of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now tell me exactly, in your words, how the defendant assaulted you.
He had Mr. McNulty in a chokehold.
Just a second. That's not how it started. It started because you said to him...
I made a comment under my breath. People like to show up unannounced. He didn't like what I had to say.
What did he say to you?
He got in my face and said, "What did you say? What the hell did you say? I want to hear what you have to say." And that's when Mr. McNulty stepped in between us, put his arms out and said, "Hey, don't talk to her like that. Just go in the house. Just go in the house. She wasn't talking to you."
You were talking to him. You were talking to him.
Not directly. Not directly.
You were nasty.
But at that point, Mr. Fairbanks pushed him down the step. They got into a physical altercation.
When you said that your fiancé separated you, explain to me exactly how that happened.
So Mr. Fairbanks was standing in front of me. Mr. McNulty jumped in between us and put his arms out and said, "Hey, that's enough. Don't talk to her like that."
Okay, put his hands out. Didn't touch anybody.
No.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then Mr. Fairbanks laid his hands on Mr. McNulty first and pushed him down the step.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor, it's not correct.
Okay, we're not talking about his assault, okay? He pled guilty to whatever happened that day. I want to hear how he assaulted you.
I'm getting to that.
Well, get there.
So he had attacked Mr. McNulty from behind and got him in a chokehold, kind of blindsided him. So at that point, I was like, okay, what do I do? I had to pull Mr. Fairbanks off of Mr. McNulty.
How did you do that?
I was on the phone with 911, kind of got my arm around him.
Got your arm around his what?
His face. I was trying to pull him off of Mr. McNulty.
Use your fiancé as an example of how you tried to pull him off. Show me on him.
So he was on top of Mr. McNulty. He had his back to me. So I, came up and tried to pull him off.
You put your arm around his neck?
Not his neck.
On his what?
Like right here, right in this area. I didn't put it around his neck.
Okay.
At that point, he turned around, pushed me in the face, and pushed me down the back porch stairs.
And?
Which resulted in me going to the hospital. I was 8 months out of an ACL reconstruction at that point. And when I hit the ground, the impact from hitting the ground damaged that knee that I had just had fixed.
Did you put your hands on him first?
Jay McNulty and Amanda Warren are accusing Shay's brother, Desmond Fairbanks, of owing for injuries resulting from an assault. Desmond is countersuing, claiming he was the one assaulted.
Did you put your hands on him first?
To pull him off, yes.
I don't care what you did. Did you put your hands on him first? He had two brothers fighting with each other.
We're not fighting. He was choking him.
Okay. And you put your hands on him first?
To get him off, yes.
Okay. And he pushed you off?
He threw me down the stairs.
Well, you got your hands around him. I want you to explain to me how he threw you down the stairs.
He let go of Mr. McNulty, stood up, turned around, put his hand in my face, and threw me down the stairs.
Okay. Now I'd like to see your hospital records.
I have private insurance. The only thing I have-
No. Hospital records. This happened
Yeah.
on May 8th,
Right
so I
here.
want to see your records from May 8th. That hospital record. Yeah, they gave you Tylenol.
They did a lot of x-rays.
They gave you Tylenol.
Yeah, but if you look in the description, it says that there's possible loosening of an ACL screw.
I have no idea, madam. You have a counterclaim.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your counterclaim is for assault and actually menacing. You say threatening the life of myself and my son. You actually mean menacing with a gun. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I would like you to tell me how you were assaulted and what your injuries were.
Assaulted by Mr. McNulty, and I was defending myself against him, walking through the gates with my child right behind me. She did make a comment under her breath. I guess anyone can just show up unannounced. I did not get in her face at that point. Mr. McNulty pretty much got in my face, started pushing me away. There was no type of trying to separate us. That never happened, trying to separate us. We went straight into fighting with each other. Tried to defend myself because my son was directly behind me. I didn't want him getting hurt, try to keep myself protected. So I did everything I could to make that happen.
Do you have any injuries as a result of that incident?
Yes, Your Honor, I did receive a busted lip, a couple of scratches on my neck.
Do you have any
arm.
photographs?
Yes,
And you have
I
a
do, Your
police
Honor.
report. I'd like to see it. How did you get the busted lip?
Busted lip was from Mr. McNulty when he did punch me in the face.
Do you have any photographs of your injuries, sir?
Your Honor, I did not have any injuries because I was simply...
Just a second, I'm just asking you.
No, I do not, Your
You
Honor.
do not?
I do not have any injuries.
Yeah. Your son wasn't injured, was he?
Thankfully, he was not. I did my best to keep him behind me as much as possible.
Did you have to hire a lawyer, sir? Did you hire a lawyer to defend you in this proceeding, this criminal proceeding?
Yes.
Where you pled guilty?
Yes, I did have a lawyer.
Did you have a public defender or did you hire a lawyer?
I had a personal lawyer.
And how much did you pay him?
It was free. I pay a membership for a gun lawyer. They protect you against gun thefts. It's a program for gun advocates. They hire a lawyer. You get up to a $50,000 bail if you go to jail and a firearm or something like that is involved.
Who hit you?
Physically punched me, Mr. McNulty. All the scratches came from Miss Warren.
Are you still living at your grandfather's house?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Where does your mother live?
My mother lives in her house.
You live there with your son?
My son comes and goes between me and his mother.
How is your grandfather?
Grandfather's doing pretty well. He still goes to work every single day, takes care of himself.
What kind of work does he do?
He is a retired mechanic, and now in his free time, he works across the street at the cemetery. He likes to keep it going.
Got it. Okay. Mr. McNulty, Miss Warren, your claim against the defendant for money owed for lost wages, hotel bills, and assault is dismissed in its entirety.
I have photos of my injuries.
I
as
don't
well.
care.
And I had to have a knee replacement as a result of him throwing.
Get me an expert. You can tell that story to somebody else.
I have pictures of the knee replacement.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
You get an expert here. You don't get $10,000 because you say I had to have a knee replacement. How do I know that you had to have a knee replacement? You had a pre-existing injury. And you precipitated this whole thing, and you put your hands on him first. You put your hands on him
Well, I mean,
first.
what is someone
Just
supposed to do when someone's being choked?
I don't know. But if you put your hands on him first, he's going to react to you. He's going to react to you. And he had no physical injury. Zero, according to him. So you put your hands on him first. If he turns around and shoves you down the stairs, well, that's what happens when you put your hands on somebody. Somebody gets the short end of the stick in an assault. And just because you may have gotten the short end of the stick doesn't give you the right to put your hands on him. Aside from the fact that your big mouth started this whole thing between the two brothers anyway. Judgment on the counterclaim for $5,000 for both the assault, which I see pictures of, and for menacing with the gun. We're done.
Thank
This
you, Your
court
Honor.
is adjourned.
I think it was very unfair, and I think that my brother essentially lied and did not tell the complete truth.
She kind of came up with a story on her own, and she saw the truth, and that's all that matters.
Once he came down and did not present himself as a threat, the firearm was set down and pointed to the side. Yes, I did point it at him, but that was when he was still showing signs of aggression and trying to force himself back into the house. It was then pointed at him and let him know that the door was locked for his safety and ours, and if he comes in and continues to aggress towards me, I would shoot him in self-defense.
Looking down the barrel of a gun, having that gun pointed at my son's face, definitely did not want him to go through that. I definitely didn't want to go through that, and I hope he can definitely forget that and never remember this day at all.
If he was going to continue to harm me and cause me to fear for my life, yes. At that point in time, it doesn't matter related or not. If you cause me to fear for my life, yes. In self-defense, I have that right, and I oblige by it.
Just glad we could put this behind us now.
He had him in a rear chokehold. I mean, you don't walk up behind somebody and choke them just for giggles, you know what I mean?
It didn't happen how she said it did.
I still don't associate with them or my mother as well. If anything, we're actually going to grow further apart, and I'm perfectly okay with that, and my life's going to continue on, and business